Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Shemini. The Jews in the desert were no strangers to preceding God in their camp. They had witnessed 10 miraculous plagues, their own seemingly unpredictable emancipation, the splitting of the sea, and the defeat of the Egyptian army. It comes as a surprise when we read in this week's Torah portion that when God appeared to them, they fell on their faces in shock. Our Torah portion discusses the inauguration of the tabernacle. Conducted by Moshe, Aaron, and the other Kohanim, the inauguration required specific steps commanded by God. God wrote, and forgive me for reading from this week's Sedra, God wrote, Moshe and Aaron and the Kohanim brought the things that Moshe had commanded to the front of the tent of the meeting, and the whole community came forward and stood before God. Moshe said, "This is what God had commanded that you do, in order that the presence of God may appear to you." Then Moshe said to Aaron, "Come forward to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering, atoning for yourself and for the people, and sacrifice the people's offering and atone for them, as God had commanded." Moshe and Aaron then went inside the tent of the meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the presence of God appeared to all the people. Fire came forth from before God and consumed the burnt offering and the fat parts of the altar. The people saw and praised God and fell on their faces. Why were the people so surprised that God appeared to them and accepted their offering? The Medrash provided some crucial background about the people's worries at the time of this inauguration. The Medrash told of the Jewish people's post-golden calf fear of God. While Moshe had successfully prayed that the people not be annihilated by God's wrath, the people weren't confident that God would accept their offerings. After the grievous sin of idolatry, the people were humble enough to realize they had rebelled against God and should lower their divine expectations significantly. For all they knew, God would ignore them until they had all died. The attempt at giving an offering seemed futile, and the atonement that the offerings promised out of their reach. They were shocked to see their offerings burnt by divine fire, signifying their acceptance and the people's atonement. Humility is one of the crucial traits a Jew must acquire in their lifetimes. All too often, people approach life with unrealistic expectations. With little effort, they expect great rewards. The Jewish people in our Torah portion modeled low expectations from God and were shocked when their wildest expectations were actually met. It's a great lesson for us in our times, when, truth be told, our humility must force us to recognize that we are undeserving of God's attention and favor, and yet we're privileged to see it every single day. It should come as a surprise, and a pleasant one, and one that encourages and inspires us to recommit to following the Torah's ways and the Torah and the mitzvot. Shabbat Shalom.